Hey guys, this is Tommy Tattoo here, and we're going to take on a project today that I've been wanting to do for a while. I just haven't had the right piece. A friend of my wife's brought her this piece that she found, I don't know where, but my wife loves it. We have lots of cats here, and she's a cat lady. But she brought her this piece, and when I saw it right away, I thought I'd like to do this, redo the piece in style by Romero Britto. For those of you not familiar with Romero Britto, he is one of the most prolific artists today with color. His stuff is being reproduced and manufactured for Disney. He's got some of the largest art installations in the world. He is basically, all of his stuff goes with these dark lines and these various colors with specific shapes. And I've actually done my wife's car in a similar genre, and I'll show you a couple of pictures of that. But it's the colors that we want to bring out here. When I saw this piece, I thought right away that what I'd like to do is, because of the gloss on the black, I'd like to leave the black as the line. So I'd like to tape this off first and then actually prep it so that I can paint colors onto it. I'm going to probably put the lines on there with tape, maybe feather them a little bit, and then cut into them. So I'm going to get started. Now, the first thing I've done is I've actually cleaned almost everything here with Windex already, and I've taken it down so that everything's completely shiny. And what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to tape this all off, and then I'm going to have to sand down, lightly sand down, so that the primer or the medium that I spray it so that we can put on the different colored paints will stick better. The next thing I'm going to do to make sure that all the oils are off of it completely is I'm going to just spray it down with isopropyl alcohol and basically, or wipe the whole thing down with isopropyl alcohol, apparently. And this is going to get all the oils, and I'm not really sure where this came from. And by the way, I did ask my wife for permission to do this. She's not here right now. She's actually out in Arizona visiting a friend. But I don't want to turn it into a major project. I want it to actually just get it done quickly and have the colors shine through. So isopropyl alcohol is going to try to get into all the areas where the actual oils have settled, and so that when I tape it off, that the areas underneath the tape will actually, the tape will adhere better. I'm using painter's tape, high quality painter's tape. The tape will adhere better, and also we'll be able to get a better grip or better tooth on it when we go to apply the white on here. So that's that. Okay, I've got it all wiped down now. The whole thing's completely wiped down. And we have to start taking a look at, this isn't the best drawing, but I'll put up a couple of pictures of how these black lines are being run. And with Britto, the genre that Britto does, these black lines are kind of distinctive. And he doesn't always use a straight line. So the tapes that I'm using are all straight. So I'm going to have to put the tape on and then actually X-Acto knife or cut away the tape so that I can taper it down so it gets a similar type of look here as well. So where do we start? Well, we got the tape going. One of the things we're going to have to do is figure out how we're going to divide this off. And you know, I think this is the kind of thing that if I don't like it, I can just pull it back off again and do it again and again until I feel like I got it right. So I'm just going to start laying some tape in there in areas. And I don't want to make the section too small because I don't want to be doing too many colors. But one of the things about Britto is he tends to use same types of colors in various areas. And probably the first thing I should probably do is tape off his neck in some way. So I think I'll do that first. Come in here. And I'm not so worried about the tape itself being wrinkled in the middle, but we have to be sure that the edges of the tape are firmly down onto the side, because those lines have to be perfectly straight. That's one of the reasons why I like this black background to get started, because I won't have to go in and paint these lines after. I'm also not worried about kind of this overlap, because I'm going to be trimming everything with the X-Acto knife here. And so I don't have any specific plan on how to do this other than to kind of gauge myself off of what he's already done. Now in something like this, I'll probably take my X-Acto knife and I'll cut away and make a smooth circle here, and then just peel away the tape so I get kind of what I'm looking for. And I'm probably going to come right down the center here with another piece of tape. And I'll cut this away here as well. This actually, I want this to come down for a single line coming off of it, so I'm going to take this whole piece off, and I'll have another line coming, I think, right down the back here. So let's pull that out. And yeah, that makes sense. So let's put that right down the line. Now these will be black lines when we get done. And what I'll do is, I think what we're going to do is, we got a little bit of a rise here, so we're going to have to let this settle down. Yeah, you see we have a little bit of a rise there, so I'm just going to put another piece of tape on there. And so I'm going to tape all of this up. I don't know if I have any specific instructions. In fact, I'm thinking right now I'd like to have a piece of tape come here and this be one color in itself. See, if you see right here on this drawing, sometimes there's little corner triangles that just have a separate little pattern in it. And I think that might look good here as well. So let me just do that. And then, now I don't want this line to be this thick up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of cut it in to make it look like it makes sense on a curved basis, and looks like it's actually aligns with his neck a little bit more. So let's just pull this off and see how this goes. Okay, I'll cut this away. Trim this up. This X-Acto knife tends to slide on this ceramic. The ceramic is really, really smooth. I'll clean this up in a minute. And then because of that, I'm going to take this line here and I'm going to curve it this way as well, so I can bring the line back down. There we go. And I'll bring this in just a little bit more here. I want this line to be kind of refined, because I don't want it to be overpowering for some of the other lines. And this is what I'm going to have to do for the rest of the piece. I'm going to have to tape it and pull the lines away. And then once I get done, I'm going to have to push down and make sure I secure all the tape. And then after that, what we're going to do is we're going to come in with a medium, a spray paint medium that actually allows it to stick, allow the other paints to stick to this. I'll do it all of these spaces will be done in white once I get this done. And so I'll have to be taping this all off, and I'll show you what that's going to look like in a few minutes after I get done with it. Okay, already figured out it's probably best to lay the tape down first, and then if I want a certain shape or a curve to it, I can just come on here and cut my curve in, which makes more sense. Okay, so I'm going to put this, I think I want to come right here with this, and then just bring it down here. You want to start pushing it down towards where you're going. There's a lot of little kind of subtle, it's hard to see with the black, but there's a lot of little valleys, and you really have to let the tape, you have to let it set in where it wants to go, but still controlling it a little bit. So, okay, so that starts to get where we want to go with respect to doing the lines. This one here is straightforward because it's a 2D drawing, but 3D makes it a little bit more difficult. Just adding in piece by piece now, and definitely much, much easier to cut the tape first. Okay, so I've blanked out his eyes, her eyes, and I put in all of this paint tape so I can preserve those as black lines in there. And I'm going to wipe the whole thing down again with isopropyl alcohol. I'm going to do a very light sanding on just these areas, wipe it down again, and then I'm going to take it outside and I'm going to give it its first coat of intermediary paint so that I can get some tooth on it and put the final colors. Okay, I'm planning on hitting it with this Rust-Oleum Universal Bonding Primer. Firmly bonds top coat to difficult surfaces. Well, I don't know if this is a difficult surface, but this thing isn't going to take a lot of wear and tear. It's not going to be in a place where it's going to be a lot of anything hitting it, potentially chipping it. But still, I'm going to take a 120. This is just regular 120 sandcloth here, silicone carbide sandcloth or oxidized sandcloth, and I'm just going to rough it up so it has a little bit of tooth on it, and especially in the areas where it might take a little bit of wear and tear. Okay, we're out in the garage, and I thought I'd give you a quick peek at the car that I made and wrapped for my wife, which is kind of what we're duplicating here. This is also the Britto genre, so to speak. And so she's kind of addicted to this kind of thing. And that vinyl's been on there for a good 5 years. More than that, probably 6 years. Still holding up really good 3M shrink vinyl. So we've got our kitty cat here, and we're using our bonding primer. And I'm just trying to get this done tonight. It's late and it's actually humid, pretty humid here in Tampa, Florida. And so I'm just going to do some light coats on it and get the bonding primer going. By the way, when I was actually getting going here, look at those particles in the air. That is crazy. I'm going to stop for a second. I'm going to turn on the blower here so I can blow this stuff out. Got the rusty old fan going, just enough to blow the particles out there. It's interesting, those particles were so large. I haven't used this product before, but it must have something to do with the adhesion onto it. It looks like it's adhering pretty well. So I'm just going to basically cover the whole thing with 2 very light coats. I just wanted to give you an idea. And as you can see, we're going to cover over all the lines and everything, and they should be black. But we need this white coat on there because if I want to start putting bright colors on there, it would take too many coats to put it on top of the black, and we'd just be wasting a lot of time. So I'll get this done, and let's just see what it looks like when I get it all cleaned up, turned white. Albino cat coming. Really, first, I would say coat and a half. I was actually thinking of filing these teeth down in the beginning, and I was pretty sure I was going to do it, but now that I painted it white, it's really taken it down quite a bit. It doesn't look as mean. A lot of the Britto work, if you take a look at how Britto looks at things, it's more stuff like this. But I think I'm okay with it the way it is. I mean, it'll be unique, kind of my own interpretation. But this product is actually amazing. I mean, it goes on so evenly and it dries so fast. I mean, I just finished this 2 minutes ago. This is already dry here. So that's very helpful, quite frankly. I could probably, it's pretty late here right now, but I could probably have this back in the house in no time at all. But I really feel like it set up a coating on there that is going to do well. And some of the tapes you can see here, the tape lifted up in 1 or 2 places. And frankly, you know what? I really had to stop worrying about stuff like that a while ago because it just kicks in the anxiety disorder, and then it's not fun at all. I mean, I'm just doing this really to have fun and give my wife a little something. She's coming home tomorrow. So that's where we're at right now. And the next step will probably be putting some color on it. Okay, well, went into wifey's craft room and found every conceivable color. Actually cleaned out the colors and got rid of some of the ones that were dried out and reinvigorated some of the good ones. And I laid 3 colors on for tonight just to see. The white line is where the black will be. And so we're starting out. I put pink because I wanted to be a girly. Soften it up a little bit. And of course there'll be a lot more work to do. These are only the base coats. And then secondary things that have to go over it will be little designs that go on top of these. But we'll see how it comes out. My main concern right now is when I lift this tape off, will it, create a problem? I did notice there's a couple of places where the tape lifted, like right here, but I've got gloss black and I can just touch up those lines when it comes. We'll see where we go with it. Okay, ran to the store, picked up some more paints. A lot of them more subdued hues, grays, light browns, because you'll see in this little actual Britto, which is a collector's, all of his stuff really is, but he uses like grays and light grays and browns and yellows, colors you wouldn't necessarily see at first when you're looking there, and those are the ones I picked up. So I put a base of gray here. Have to do a second coat. So again, all the white lines are where the black lines are going to be. Some of the real close lines, like down here, I'm just going to paint in after because there was no tape there. And got more colors, picked up some more brushes. There's a lot of dots, so I picked up some Jaguars. Just some of these sponge stipplers. Hopefully they'll work out. How to get softer brushes because the paint is really tight on it really streaks a lot, you'll see on the first coat. Some of the colors require 3 coats, some require 2. And then I switched over for all the paints to be semi-gloss. Here I just did some testing to see what the off-hue color would look like and whether I wanted to do just with the paintbrush. Ultimately, I picked up these other paintbrushes and some of these to do some of the circles. And then there's also lines, you'll see. He does lots of lines there. There's lines here. These are just 2 close hues. Same here, greens, 2 different greens. It's interesting. Moving along, double colors there. I found out, by the way, that the best way to do this stuff is either with the paintbrush or these paint pens. So, we got more colors. Take some time to do this. More colors, more base colors on. And then I'm going with the second right now. Okay, I'm starting to take some of the tapes off, and I'm going to have a bit of touch up, and as you can see, what happens is the paint lifts off here, which, because it's ceramic, even though I sanded it, and the paints probably aren't as good. So like areas like this, I'm going to touch all this up, straighten it up and touch it up, but I wanted to keep this, because it was black ceramic, I wanted to keep the line. Normally I wouldn't do that, but I like the idea of keeping the black ceramic. So I'm going to start pulling the tape off of it. And I still have to put some additional shapes and colors on it, but that's where we're starting to get to now. We're pulling the tape everywhere. Again, this is the tape coming off here. Just a little bit of here. Really careful. That's it for now. Spectacular sparkly stuff. I did not like you see there's still a little bit of that pink paint left on his teeth. I didn't like that bright pink paint on his nose, so I've redone that. I've added little flowers here in the middle of that. Put some little zippity doodah lines here. Made his toes a little bit. It's just a little bit of work that you have to do on the whole thing. So you've got to take your time. Very tedious. It's very slow. I found that these painting pens are invaluable because when you're trying to straighten out these black lines, it's really probably done another way, but on a 3D object like this, the paint goes over, it doesn't quite make, the lines aren't perfect, so to go back like something like this has to be straightened out. I either have to bring the paint down or make the line straighter, or I can just do black over this line here. It's mostly touch-up when you get to this point, any little things you see that you don't like. And then when I get done, the entire thing, we'll take it outside, I'll show it to you, and we'll lacquer it, and we should be done. Every single paint on here now is gloss paint except for on the nose. I couldn't find that color pink, and that's the color I wanted, so we'll have to wait till we get the final. Okay, we're outside now. I got all the paint done, and I'm about to put on a couple of coats of this polyacrylic clear satin. Ooh, I don't want clear satin. Okay, well, I'm on my way to the hardware store because I don't want satin, I want high gloss, so I gotta go get some high gloss. Truck automatically pulls into the 7-Eleven.
Alright, $7.85.
Best. Delicious. Food of the gods, Doritos and Monsters. Ace is the place for the helpful hardware, human being or person, but we don't call it man anymore. Ace is the place for the helpful hardware, alien species. Paint section, paint section. Paint section. Kryline. The Kryline magic. What am I looking for? Come on. Nice, what have you done here? Clear gloss, that's what we're looking for. Clear gloss. Okay, well, we're back from the hardware store. There it is. Min-Wax Polyacrylic Clear Gloss. Only took a few seconds to go to the hardware store and get it, so I'm gonna start coating. The only thing I will tell you that made this really difficult was when I taped this off, I tried to use these black lines because the underline was black, and I don't know that I do that again. Like this line over here is actually done with the paint marker, and these paint markers, like this Testa paint marker that does this silver color, has a lot of pigment in it, so you just hit it once and it takes. The other markers that I had, the paint markers, you had to go over it several times because it was opaque. But for the most part, the whole thing came out pretty good the way I wanted to. So I'll give it 3 coats and we'll see what it looks like after. 2 coats now. Getting there. This used to be flat, so it's really starting to, the pink was the only flat color on it. So the pink is really actually coming up just fine. I was a little worried about it. All the rest of the colors were originally gloss, but we're almost there. Okay, we're all done. 4 coats of high gloss. You see it shining, and see where the flat paint was? That was flat pink. So you really can use flat paints if you want to, and just do a final coat. That actually looks fine, like that. And I do have a lot of flat paints left over. There's Baby Kitty. That's actually a real Britto. You'll see here. Signed collector's piece. That's Baby Kitty and Mama Kitty. Mama Kitty's got Baby Kitty now. So it's all done. It was fun. Learned a lot. The paint pencils, the painting markers are really a key to this whole thing. And I watched some Britto tapes too, and he used the same exact thing. So next time I'll probably do the black lines last thing, but being that this started out black, no problems. Thanks for watching.